Well, hello there. The stream will be starting in just a few moments. Now, usually these streams start at 5:15, but I obviously forgot to set the schedule correctly. I set it 5 o'clock, which would be fine, but wasn't quite ready. So I apologise for the stream starting for a few moments late and me being slightly tired than usual potentially. Anyway, let me just let you know what's going on. Firstly, we've got another Sega Master System stream tomorrow at the other side of the day, so if it's evening for you at the moment, it'll be early in the morning. It's at 6 p.m. Japan time. I think that's 9 a.m. UK time on a Saturday morning, so if it's possible, please join me for that. But everyone's obviously got their own schedules and things, so I understand if it isn't. Today, of course, we're doing z80 assembly programming, working on my little game Yquest, which is a program that's basically been extended from the simple series of bitmap tutorials and joystick reading tutorials, and hopefully we're going to make a small game of it, and that will become a tutorial in its own right. That's the plan for it. We really only program it during these live streams, so there's not really anything going on off camera, so you're just seeing, you know, the kind of progress you can make in, I think we're up to about 10 hours at the moment. I think we're going to be up to the sort of 12th hour with this week's tutorial, this week's episode, so that's kind of the deal with this. As I say, apart from that, we've got the weekend gaming streams, and I did have a Worms stream. If you like Worms, please check out the stream I did midweek. Now, apart from that, I'll just let you know my domain names are now sorted. So I have learnasm.net, as you can see in the corner at the moment, I think. And I also have assemblytutorial.com now. Now, these go to a sort of master list of all of the tutorials and all the platforms I cover. So if you're, and there's a new, if you click on 8086, 6502, 68000, the main tutorials I cover, there's a big long list of every tutorial with a summary of that tutorial's content now. So if you're wanting to see the full breadth of what I cover, or if you're trying to find something and you're not sure if I cover it, you know, if you want a tile map tutorial or something on a Z80 system, hopefully you can go to that site, go to Z80 and then do a search with Control F, and hopefully you'll be able to find what you're looking for. So as I say, that's some new domain names I now own to try and sort of promote my content, and also hopefully to help people who maybe have come across one or two of my tutorials but don't understand the full range of systems I cover, or don't know, you know, they've seen a video on the screen but they need questions answering about tile maps or something, and they don't know if that tutorial exists or not. So the idea is just to give people a bit more of a display of the range of content that I currently have available to them. Anyway, enough chit chat of that nature. Let's go over and get on with today's stream. If I can get my mouse cursor on the right screen so my keys work, because hello there. So here is Yquest, and good morning, Mark. It's very kind of you to join me. Ready for crazy Z80 machines? No, probably not. Not at 5 a.m. I'm not ready for crazy anything. Not ready for anything other than making sleepless groaning sounds, probably. But we're going to be doing some Z80 all the same. My joystick has vanished. It's over here. Okay. So, just going to get cursors on the right screens here so that things work. So here's Yquest, as I said before. And we can... There seems to be a bit of delay. I do need to have a look at that, but we can now fire at the enemies like that. Pow, pow, pow. We have to make our own sound effects at the moment. So I will be, I'll be adding chibi sound at some point, hopefully, to make some sounds, but not today. No, it's all right. I'm only joking, Mark. I'll be fine. I usually get up at this time anyway, so it'll be perfectly okay. So yeah. Anyway, so the game works reasonably well in the capacity that it currently is coded. So today I'm going to be trying to make the enemies fire. That's the first challenge. Okay, so let's have a look at the code here. So I'm going to be copying the bullet array code that the player uses, and I will be just tweaking it, hopefully, so that instead of the player firing, the enemies will fire. So hopefully we'll just be able to use the same code, just with a few tweaks. So we've got a bullet array of 8 by 8, so that's for 8 bullets. If the player can only shoot 8, I think it's fair that the enemies can also only shoot 8. So I need my notepad up again. Get that out of the way. Use a notepad as a sort of clipboard. So like, I need to store the name enemy bullet array and bullet count from the code here, because I need to use those in another place. Okay. And I'm trying to think what I need to do next. So what I need to do is I need to get this bullet code here, and just I'll copy it. How much did I copy there? can't tell the start of one and the end of the other. Here it is. Okay, so I'll just copy this. Enemy bullet array. Next, enemy bullet loop. And then this part here will need to detect the player's position. I'll just delete it. Looking, so that's the current bullet position, so we'll need to compare with that, so we'll leave that in there. So here we'll need to kill the player. That's wrong because that's relating to the enemy bullet array, so we can't use that. And that can go, we don't need a loop here. And that can go as well. Okay. I think that looks okay. A bit worried about that label. That I prefer to mention of word bullet in there. I'm just a bit worried I might have used that label before. This version of WinApe doesn't support sort of local labels or anything, so I have got so used to it. I never use them really except for in macros, so it's not a problem as such. It's not. I'm sure some people would quite justifiably prefer the use of them, but as I say, I've become used to them not being reliable, as in whether they exist or not, so I don't use them. Okay, so next we need a fire routine. God, is that how much code it took? Dear me. Okay, well, it's a lot of it. Okay, so we're going to create a version of this called enemy fire bullet. Enemy bullet array found. We'll just tag enemy onto the front of everything. That'll clear everything up. So essentially the code is going to fortunately be the same. We're just going to take the, well, sort of the same. We're going to take the acceleration from the current enemy and we're going to use that instead as the source of the acceleration for the bullet. Now, in this game only the tougher enemies would actually fire, but I'm going to program it in, obviously, well, not necessarily obviously, I'm going to program it into basically every enemy just for simplicity to get started. So that's loading the position, sprite number. We need to change that sprite number. I was going to get ready and get all my programs loaded, but when I realised I'd accidentally started scheduled the stream 15 minutes earlier, I wouldn't have started normally. I'd be slightly more awake, but anyway, as I say, we can work with it, and I do hopefully have a couple of things I want to do today. If we can get the bullets working today for the enemy, then hopefully we can start programming the level routine that will define the contents of each level. Or maybe we've done that already. I can't remember. It's an interesting thought. I think maybe we've done that already, but it's certainly not working. So we'll need to have a progression so that each level is more difficult than the last once you've collected all the crystals, and we need to have a start game and a game over screen and things. So this here is the enemy bullet. It's bigger and it's brighter so that the player doesn't miss it. I don't want them to miss it and end up dying. So this will be sprite number 7, I guess. We're using IY here. That's good, because I want to take the X pos and the Y pos from IX here, which will, when we call this routine, contain a pointer to the current enemy. Okay, so there we go. But we do need to change those acceleration readers as well. Let's get I'm in two minds whether to split this out into more assembly files or not. I think it helps with regards to the structure, you know, for programming it in this sense. However, I just wonder whether a beginner trying to work with the code finds it easier knowing that there's only one place to look for everything. I don't know what people think of that. I would say I really don't know what to do for the best, because you know, I'm finding a bit of a pain scrolling up and down like this, although the part of that is because I'm using larger fonts than I normally would. I usually use very small fonts, but you know, for the live stream I do turn them up a bit, which you know, I've had comments that people would prefer them larger, so I did turn them up. But as I say, I'm in two minds as to whether to make this bigger. I don't know if anyone's got any thoughts on that. Not bigger, so I split it out into multiple files. If anyone's got any thoughts on that, please let me know which you would prefer if you were going to take this source code and try and read it and work on it. More than one file, or you know, maybe 4 or 5 files. It's as I say, it's difficult to know what to do for the best. Reading the code here, just checking just reminding myself what everything's doing here. So we're loading in now from IX here. Check bullets return, that's wrong. That's not right. That would have caused some enemy check bullet return. Okay. Now all we need to do is look for, this is the initialization loop, we don't want to change that. Good morning, Polter. Polter, is that pronounced right? I apologise. Good morning. Very kind of you with your bluebird. Yeah, very morning-like. You'd split it up, one for each function, such as player control, enemy movement, shooting. Mate, it's easy for me to code and keep track of what's where. Well, yep, Mark, I don't disagree with that. As I say, I'm just not quite sure. You know, sometimes having things split up makes the too many places to look, and you don't know where to look. And other times, yeah, I know what you're saying. Okay, yeah, and keep the main game loop short and sweet. Okay, I'll have a think. I'll have a think and we'll decide what to do. I haven't even decided how to do the tutorials on this yet. Do I do, you know, one hour tutorial? Do I do a series of 10 just explaining the basic core code? I mean, the plan is to have a 2-part thing where the first part is discussing the Amstrad version in detail, and then the second part will be discussing porting it to other systems, because I'm planning to try and port this game to other 8-bits in the tutorial series, primarily z80 and possibly other ones later on in the future. So, where are we? What's going on? Okay, so let's have a look at this draw player routine, which is totally mislabeled. It's probably hard to keep track on live streams. Okay. Well, I'll say yeah, I think that's a very valid comment. I'll have a think and I'll try and work out what the best thing to do to make the code as clear as possible. Okay. So if I do a call to here, now I just need to check if there's anything else. Scrolling all the time is annoying, yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I've had to cut bits out of the pre-recorded videos just because I'm frantically scrolling up and down trying to find the code I'm talking about. Yeah, look at those buggers go. They're firing everywhere. That's excellent. Okay, I mean, obviously, they're not really going to fire like that. That's the game's not crashed there. That's because I've run out of lives. Okay, well, that looks good. They are, I mean, that's ridiculous, but let's keep it ridiculous for now. I'm also going to have a slurp of tea, so I will just mute the mic. You don't want to hear me gulping away at tea, but it is required at this time of morning. So, yeah. Saying the other week, I messed with my keyboard using sharp keys. So that stupid right click button on the keyboard, it's called the application key, is now F13 or F14 or something. One of the keys that no longer exists on a modern keyboard. But OBS will use that as a mute button. So I can now press that key that I've never used in my entire life, and it will immediately mute the sound. And the current running application doesn't care, because I was having a lot of trouble with a lot of key combinations that you might use as a mute button. You can't use on things like Notepad++ because it uses damn near the entire keyboard. But F13 doesn't use that, does it? Because it's not widely, it's not really used anymore. I heard it said that Shift in F1 or something would emulate it, but it doesn't seem to. I don't know if that's still a thing. It certainly didn't cause any problems. Anyway, I thought just some fun trivia there for you if you're ever planning to do any live streaming of your own. Sounds good, Paul. Yeah, I say it was because I've got this mini keyboard that's like a macro keyboard, but the macros, because of the way that OBS polls the keyboard, it polls at 100 milliseconds, and the macros emulate multiple key presses. So I was planning to use Control Shift Alt and Z or something to mute the keyboard, to mute the sound, but it doesn't work because OBS doesn't pick up the key press unless it's got focus. Which is why you'll sometimes hear me frantically pressing away at a key and nothing's happening. It's because I've forgotten to select OBS, because unfortunately there aren't enough fake function keys to map all the keys on my macro keyboard. But yeah, definitely sharp keys is definitely worth remembering if you need to do weird tricks. I had a user at work as well who wanted to change. They wanted to change the right control to be a tab key so that they could quickly enter things with the numeric keypad or something crazy like that, and it did do it. It was kind of like, I hope this isn't going to wreck your machine, but it didn't. It worked okay. So if you get weird requests or you want to do strange things with your keyboard, definitely a program to remember. Very good program. and it's not a driver. It's using built-in Windows functionality. That's the other strange thing about it. So yeah, as I say, I don't know quite what would happen if you accidentally remapped your A key to the Z key, and your password had a Z in it or something. I don't know what. I don't know if it only works after you log in, maybe. But as I say, I could imagine some chaotic configurations you could do. But as I say, it's not any kind of Windows driver that could cause problems. It's built-in Windows functionality, apparently. Anyway, some trivia for you then. So I need to change this enemy bullet code, and I need to remember what on earth I'm supposed to be doing. I need to make the code check the current player position, and if the bullets hit the player, hurt the player. Player hurt. Here we go. That'll do nicely. So that's all we need. So there's only 2 instances that will kill the player: if they've hit a enemy that hurts them, or a mine, which is also an enemy that hurts them. It's just one that doesn't move, or if the enemy's bullet hits them. That's the fire bullet routine, but we don't want that. We want the drawing routine. Okay, so here we want to do a call. Now we could probably change that to call C, player hurt, but I'm going to leave it like this just in case it turns out I need more code later on. I'm not really going to attempt to optimize this game speed-wise. I'm more prioritizing it being clean and explanatory. You know, I'm not gonna try and strip every spare byte out of the code and optimize it, because the speed of this game doesn't matter. It's intended that people can download it and tweak it and have a look at it and nick bits of it. So as I say, that is the priority in this case, not making a supreme representation of my programming ability such that it is. So yeah, as I say, we're just going to keep it as clear as possible, not as fast as possible. I've been playing this week with some more code for a future Z80 tutorials, which is a software tile map, which should be a lot of fun. It's kind of I occasionally get people ask me, "Oh, make a platform game and do a tutorial on it," and you're just like, "Do you know how long that's going to take me?" I haven't got time for that. It's like a couple of months solid work to do a game that complex. I mean, you know, on just the Amstrad CPC it'd probably be fine, but my tutorial series, the popularity of it is because I covered so many systems. So you know, I need to. I don't. A game like this, I'm making a game of this relatively low standard because I want a game not just that I can write, but I can write on a dozen systems and port to potentially to 6502 as well. So make a simple platformer. Firstly, that's quite a lot of work, and you know, probably a month or two of heavy programming in its own right. Hello HH, good evening for you, is it? It's morning for me. Very kind of you to join me all the same. So we're working on the wonders of Yquest today, again, as we will be for a couple more weeks probably. I think look at those enemies, they're going crazy, they're firing everywhere, and they've killed me before I picked up the joypad. Yeah. Did anyone see if it was the bullets that killed me or the... oh, hang on a minute. Is that... is it taking me life without... I didn't see what happened there. Hang on a minute. Give me 9 lives. I need to at least. No, the collision detection's not working. The lives are going down for no reason. Okay, we'll have a look at that. I'm not sure. There's so many bullets on screen, it's very difficult to judge. Okay. Oh yeah, okay. Limit bullet erase to 1. I may be. I'm not sure. I'm not sure at this point. I just need to think it through. I'll figure it out. So, shot the crystal. Well, let's compile with the breakpoint on and we'll see when the first clean happens. Oh, the very second the game starts. That is unlikely. Okay, that's not possible. This is why I'm using WinApe, the Amstrad CPC emulator, because I can actually step through the code very easily. I can't do this with the either assemblers, so you know, when I'm working on stream, you know, essentially humiliating myself on live streams, it's easier when you're working on a system with good debugging. I apologise for the dead air here. I can't think of witty things to say while I'm having to concentrate on what the problem is. So yeah, apologise. There's just nothing I can do about it for a stream like this. I can't keep the chit chat going and think about code this complicated. I don't know. I don't know what the problem is there. Okay, let's just triple check I'm using the right variables here. Yeah, looks right. I was just wondering if I'd got the variable names wrong, because it's been a while since I've only programmed this one day a week, so you know, it's a risk I will forget things. So we've got, hang on a minute, that shouldn't be B, that should be C. That's not right. There we go. I just typed a B instead of a C. Oh, he shot me. He shot me. Yeah, it's working now. I just got my register number wrong. Okay. So they're shooting like absolute crazy there, but I think that's acceptable. Okay, so we're now going to do something a bit more fun for a change. You don't have enough fun, so what we're going to do is, as I say, I've not been doing any programming off stream, but I have made a small exception. Yesterday I was at the arcade playing the dance games, and there was a queue, which I don't like at all, but I have a mini laptop on me, so I drew this. So this is the Yquest logo. I'm sure there's thunderous applause across the world at the presentation of the Yquest logo. So what are we going to do with this? Well, I'm going to do the same thing as I did with Grime Z80. We're going to use, this is 40 by 24, which is roughly the size of the screen on the CPC. It's 40 by 25 in tiles, in 8 by 8 pixel blocks. And so what, yes, very good. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for your sympathy there. I don't think it really deserved any applause of any kind, but it's what we've got. So so each of these pixels is going to be a tile. So maybe these Y's will be, let me just go over to my other screen here. Where is it? So maybe it'll be made up of like the crystals maybe for the Y's, and maybe the mines for the white bit or something, and the quest will maybe be these things. I don't know. Or maybe I'll draw some new tiles and we'll use the new tiles for it. But anyway, we're going to make this image up out of tiles. That's the plan. And I thought I'd show you just for a bit of fun how I did the Yquest one. How I did the Grime one. Sorry, because I've mentioned it before, but I think it's worth bearing in mind just as a quirk, because you know, thinking how you're going to convert that to tile numbers. Well, I wouldn't necessarily think of it, but thanks to the rather odd way I've programmed things, maybe there is an easy way. Anyway, so let's go over to the other screen here. So I've now got 2 copies of Yquest open. We'll just get this one over here, over my chat window, which isn't going to go well. So just get that out of the way. Oh, no, don't. It's stuck to my right screen. I hate this auto sticking, also all this nonsense. Okay, so here we go. Now, if we set our colours just right, so this is colour 0, and if we set colour 1, 0, 1, 2, if we set colour 2 here to cyan, just click Set Palette here, and click on colour 2, and this appears on the wrong window. We set it to cyan, and then if we set colour 1, I didn't need to click on that again, did I? Colour 1 to magenta here. I'll just leave that off window, you don't need to see me setting magentas. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and if we set colour 4 to white, and 5, 6 to yellow, well, it's kind of an orangey yellow actually, it's not quite yellow. There we go, something like that maybe. And now I'm doing this off screen. Well, let's use my staggering keyboard here. So if I do Control-Shift-C there, I keep doing Control-Shift-C on OpenView and it keeps setting my Windows wallpaper. Very annoying. So now we've pasted our Yquest logo into Yquest. Now it's picked up. It tries to do some color matching where there isn't an exact color. So it's just put a little bit of gunk there. Actually, I think we did want that pixel. We don't want those. So there we've got our Yquest logo in Yquest editor. I mean, I'll do some tweaking on it later, but as I say, you get the gist. You get the gist. So, sorry, just bear me a moment. I'm just getting. I forgot to close down. Close down my Discord server. If you're not on my Discord, please please join along. There should be a link in the title bar or something. There's one somewhere. I'll paste one into the chat at the end of the stream. I don't. There's also one on the forum. There's hopefully one you can find somewhere anyway. Okay, so where are we? So we've got this. So if we do now File, Save Sprites As, and we'll call this Yquest logo. Now you'll see that it's a .txt file, and maybe you can guess what's coming next if I just get this window up here, and if I go to Res All Sprites, Details, Sort by Date, Yquest logo, and if I open this in Notepad, you'll see that it's essentially a CSV file. So we've got our color palette here, all 255 of it, and this is the Yquest logo in numbers. Okay, and you're saying sorry, Mark. I don't know what for. I was only joking when I was saying you're being sarcastic. I don't. You've done nothing to be sorry for, certainly. Anyway, so the zeros here are the background. The 2s, because I set color 2, are going to be these crystals. So, but by setting the palette to match the tile numbers, or the sprite numbers if you prefer, this is actually effectively the tile numbers that I need to draw that image onto my screen. I've kind of taken advantage of the quirky way this program works, my Yquest sprite editor works, and I mean it's not entirely accidental. I mean I didn't design it to do this trick, but I did use CSV so that it could be edited with a text editor, or even you can copy bits of it into Excel and things if you want to do that kind of thing, if you want to mathematically merge or alter, flip and things, if you've got options that you want to do, or combine sprites or move them around within the list, and you find it easier in a text editor, you can do that. That's why I did it. I find it's a bit not visible. Sorry, you're right, it's not. There you go. So yeah, I've just put. Yeah, no, it's all right. I've done it. Sorry. So all I've done is I've put a DB at the start. Did you not see any of that? Let me do it again. Hang on a minute. Let me do it again. Just a sec. Okay. So here's the file I just exported in Yquest Sprite Editor. So it's a CSV file, and so those are the color. That's the color palette, and this is the actual first sprite, the bitmap data of the first sprite, and each number here is the color in this definition here. So color 0 is the 0 here, and because the colors here relating to here match the tile that I want to use here, this is effectively a tile number map here. And I've just copied this from this screen to here, added some dBs, and this is now valid data. And if I use this data as the sprite numbers to show on the screen, I will actually build the Yquest logo in sprites on the screen. That's what I'm going to try and do. It worked for Grimes Z80, so it should damn well work for here, hopefully. Probably won't. Probably make me look foolish, but I'm used to that. So just putting our data in here. Hopefully you can see that. You see it now. Sorry about that, Paul. Sorry, Paul. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Paul 2, is it? Yeah, sorry. It's a name I'm not familiar with. I do apologise. So this is the title. And let's open Grime. I'm not going to try and code it again because I've already done this job once. So let's get the Grime Z80 code up, and let's have a look at the. Hopefully we can borrow the code that shows the title screen on that system. Show the high score, title pick, Title pick next line. Repeat screen. Oh, okay, maybe we can't. No, I'd forgotten how that worked. That used a tile map buffer, so that's not quite going to be the same. Okay, well, forget it then. We'll start from scratch. So, okay. Just looking down here. So this is our initialization. So I want this to be here, and we're going to. I'm putting a DI halt in just so that we've got a generic stop routine here. Just don't want any, just want to deal with this in isolation. Okay, so I'll get screen pause here. Where's our sprite routine? I've forgotten what it's called. It's probably show sprite, isn't it? I'm not very imaginative. Draw both. Yes, okay, thank you, Polter, very kind of you to let me know. My pronunciation of everything in the world ever is terrible, but I at least don't want to make the mistake for, I don't want to, if I can't pronounce it, then I can't pronounce it, but I want to at least make an effort to do so correctly. Okay, so draw both. I'm not going to be working from an array this time, so we're going to call show sprite here. I'm intentionally working off screen here, don't worry about it. So bc equals xy d hl hang on a minute, actually. No, okay. I'm just going to move this, and I'm going to do a call here to call get sprite address, because I'm going to need this, but I don't want this loading of BC here. I'm going to return that, so that we need to load D with our sprite number. There's going to be lots of pushing and popping going on here. As again, that was intentionally off screen. Don't worry about that. You'll see it in just a moment. I was just collecting together the label names that I need to use for the next stage. Okay. So we need to do a load B with the width 40, load C with the height 24. And then we need to do push BC, pop. We basically need to back up everything. Pop BC, call get sprite address, call show sprite. I'm just wondering, the B and C are backwards there. I'm wondering whether to ink them instead of decrementing them, or whether to get sprite address. That doesn't change B and C, does it? Oh, it does. It does. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, okay. I was worried. Okay, so we do push BC, pop BC, load A, 40, sub B, B, A, load. Oh, fuck it. That's a pain in the ass. We'll just do these backwards. So here we're going to do load D from HL, that's the sprite number. And then we're going to do title pick next X, title pick next Y, inc B CP40 JRNZ, title pick next Y, next X, and then the same for Y. I'm sure I've forgotten terrible things in that code. It's off screen, hang on a minute. I've got to press play then any key. Shall I press play in any key and see what happens? I think we will not. What's happened there is there's obviously something wrong with my pushes and pops. So a call has ended up in totally the wrong place. So what will we do? Well, first of all, let's just take all of this out. Keyboard not found, press any key to continue. Well, it's not quite that bad. What's happened is the operating system has accidentally executed some code that what's my note doing over there? So okay, so it's I just wanted to check that I hadn't made a mistake in the sprite drawing code. I don't use the shadow registers where if I can avoid it, Russ. They're in use by the firmware, you see. So and also things like the Z8, the GB Z80 don't have them. So I only resort to using the shadow registers in very special exceptions or interrupt handlers. I know what you're saying though. It's certainly an option, but that's not what's causing the problem here. I'm not sure what is causing the problem here. Okay, well let's yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I understand what you're saying about the IY. Yes, again. Again, I try and avoid using IX and IY as well, but in a case like this, yeah, I can't. You know, it's just not an option. So yeah, it is difficult. Again, it's you know, you want to create the best game you can. You know, a game that looks good and plays good and things. But to do that, you have to do lots of things that are very system specific, and you know, it isn't necessarily going to be easy to port to other systems. Oh, okay. Oh, hang on a minute. I see the problem. We've got a pop BC here. Yeah, okay, well. Yeah, when you get an error message like that, in that case, plus play on tape, or anything that something suddenly happens that you really wouldn't expect, that usually suggests, well, I mean, it's possible your code had become corrupted, like you were writing to your own code memory, but more often it means that there's something wrong with the data on the stack, and a return address has occurred to something that isn't. Whoa. that something that has a return has occurred to something that isn't an address to be returned to. So as I say, in this case, it was that my pushes and pops weren't matching. So well, that's no good. Load A with B, load A with C. Here I need to do a what's the command on? I forget the logical shift commands and arithmetic shift commands. They've got silly names. SLAB. I need to double B, and I need to quadruple C. I think. Do I? I have no idea. I definitely don't need to do them there. That's in the wrong place. Let's have a look. I can't remember how this show sprite routine works, because there's got to be that code somewhere else already. Okay, no, it's working in pixels here. It's working in. I'm forgetting my units that the playing character, the enemies are working in. They're working in pixels and half bytes. So I do need to do that. So that's going to multiply up there. I need to also put an inc.hl here. There we go. Okay, we've got no space, right? Okay. I mean, generally that looks right, but we need to skip anything that's a 0 and not draw it. But you can see, in theory, it sort of worked. But yeah, Russ, I mean, you're very correct about that Y register. I'm not sure what I'll do. I mean, I don't actually need interrupts in this game at the moment. I'm not going to do music. I'll do sound, but not music. So I could just keep interrupts disabled throughout the entire game. I could put an interrupt handler, an RST2 interrupt handler, or I could use my Game Boy. I've got some Game Boy routines to fake the IY registers, so I could use those as well. So I'd say I've got a few possibilities, but in my general tutorials, I avoid using IXIY for the reason you described and the shadow registers. I just didn't think it would be. I didn't think it would be a proper tutorial on how to program a game if I overlooked the IX and Y registers when they would be so useful for this kind of array processing with regards to enemy objects and player and arrays of objects and arrays of bullets, because to say this, it's so good for that kind of thing and using offsets. So while I would have preferred to avoid using it in this case, I did not think I could. Okay, so load D with A, all A. There we go. There we go. Look at that. That's fantastic. That's pretty much exactly what I had in mind. I'm quite happy with that. That looks fantastic. And yeah, as I say, not much coding taken. We're only an hour in, and we've already got a title screen, and we've got those enemies shooting, although they're shooting a bit hard. But as I say, we'll worry about that when it comes to the future lesson. That's pretty. You can clap whenever you want, Mark. You can clap, you can point at, laugh, whatever you want. It makes no difference to me. But yeah, I'd say quite. We've done very little work, and we got a nice title screen. Now I do want to make one slight change to it, but I couldn't do it on my mini laptop because I did not have the I didn't have the sprites. So what we'll do here is we will just do an edit, copy to clipboard. I'm doing that on Aqua Sprite Editor. You don't worry about that. And if we do a new here, look at the size of that 100 pixel blooming brush. It's not appropriate for pixel artists, is it? Okay. I'm just trying to think. What are we going to use here? Just bear with me a moment. Try this guy. We need the most ridiculous one. I'm just wondering whether that's the most ridiculous one or that is. Let's try this one first and we'll see how he looks. I want to have him kind of peering over the logo. So if you change this to nearest neighbor and the scale to 200. So he's going to just sit there looming ominously over the logo here. I think that's what we want. That's what I want anyway. So let's have a look at that. We'll have a poll. So we could have him looking like that, or alternatively we could have this alien rabbit thing. I don't know what it is. Don't ask me what it is. I only drew it. I can't even expect to know what these crazy monsters are. So if we just put this one here, maybe. So I will. No, we need him a bit higher up than that. We need to see a bit more of him than that. Hang on a minute. Okay, well I guess we'll have to go with that. It's a bit more of him than I wanted to see. I wanted him to be. I wanted the character to be a bit more. You know, we can't quite see him. He's just sort of peering over there. We could change the ears or the antenna or whatever they are. Let's say I've not put any real thought into the biology of these guys. I don't know what's ear and what's antenna. You know, they're just whatever they are. They're just things. Okay, so let's grab this and just make its ear antenna things a bit wider. So we got a choice. I want to have an enemy peering over the logo to make the screen look full. So the top's going to say press fire to start and learn ASM.net. You know, my little advert for my website. So I need that space, but I don't need the rest. So we can either have the purple eerie thing or the toothy blobby thing. We'll just change his tooth though. His tooth looks a bit long there. So we'll just change it. There we go. So please let me know which one you prefer in the chat. You've got a minute or two, and we'll change either to the toothy thing, which is the blue toothy thing, or the purple floppy antenna-y eerie thing, the space rabbit. I don't know what it is. So yeah, let me know which one you prefer, and we will use the one that has the most votes, or if they have the same number of votes, I'll just pick one. I don't know. It's all pretty much the same, isn't it? Anyway, let's go back to the code while you think on that weighty task, you know. And purple floppy antenna. Okay, fine. I'm not I'm not against that. I don't have an opinion, which is why I'm asking for yours. So what we need to do next is we need to well, I guess we need to have a press fire to start, don't we? That's what we need. So let's have a look where our code to read in the joystick is. I'm using the firmware joystick reading. I don't like using the firmware, but for the reason Russ said about the firmware using registers and doing mystery things. But in the case of a game like this, as I said, it's intended to be a tutorial, so to make things as easy as possible for the viewer, you know, if I can do something with a code, with one line of firmware code that's perfectly acceptable, then I will. The crazy purple rabbit thing, the purple rabbit thing is dominating with a devastating 2 votes. Good grief! No need for recounts here, is there? Does anyone like the toothy thing? So I think I've only got about 3 people in the chat, so I think it could be a 100% unanimous vote here for purple rabbity thing. Okay. Well, if you want to come up with if anyone watching has ideas for the names of the monsters, then you're welcome to post them in the not in the chat, post them in the comments of the video, and if there's anyone comes up with any good ones, then I'll put them in. I'll put like a description somewhere on the game. I'll make a game screen, or I'll make a description on the website of each enemy, and maybe they can have a little backstory. So there's the purpley floppy antenna-y eerie thing. There's this moody guy with the kind of pincers, and at the moment we've got the round blob with the tooth. It's supposed to be a tooth. It was supposed to have like one tooth in the middle of its mouth, but it looks a bit like a tongue. So anyway, as I say, if anyone wants to come up with the names for those, then feel free, and we'll create some more later. This is just the starting point, because it's early days in this code still. We need to get the levels in before we can have more enemies. The PFA. Okay. Yeah. Purple floppy antenna. Yeah. It's quite funny. Okay, anyway, so we need to do here, and we need to do and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I think this returns a 1 if the button's down. Let's do call wait. So we're going to create a routine to do wait for fire. So here we're checking if the fire is down, but first we need to debounce. So if this routine is going to be used for things like the game over screen as well, and the problem is the player might be actually holding down the fire button, in which case you would immediately skip. So this wait for fire routine is actually going to make sure the fire isn't pressed and wait if it is, and then wait for it to be pressed and jump and wait if it's not. So we're going to do 2 routines here. Oh. Yeah, okay. And if we just compile here. So we've got our Yquest screen here. And there we got the game starts. What we do need though is we need a clear screen routine. Do we have one? Don't think we do. Let's have a look. Let's get in my cheat sheet, my laminated cheat sheet here. And trying to see. There's got to be a clear screen routine. BC14 screen clear. Let's try calling that. I don't know how it works. It might need some horrendous parameters. Now the other option would be to just pipe a bunch of zeros to the screen. We can do that as well. There we go. That looks good. Okay, we do have string routines. I wasn't sure if we did. I'm gradually cobbling little bits of my tutorial code into here. So anyway, I think we have a unanimous vote for purple floppy antenna, Mr. PFA here. So so what we need to do here is just get this back into our logo. Just I've made some changes, so I just need to paste the new version. Oh dear, that didn't work, did it? What did I do wrong there? Oh, I know. No, it's all right. Yeah, it always pastes as a 256 square image, slightly bigger actually. You'll notice the palette is actually stored at the bottom, so you can make sure you're using the correct colors. And I think that even works if you're using 256 color mode. So I do most Yquest editor I only use for basic pixel art correction. For most of my actual design work, I use Critter because I'm not going to try and beat this. You know, it's an excellent program. So as I say, I only tend to do the finishing touches in Yquest and corrections and tweaks and things that are relating to pixel art, like, you know, spectrum color palettes and things. I'm just going to take advantage of our better resolution here. Oh, shit. No, maybe not. I was wondering if you should have a silly tuft of hair, but I don't think it should. No, it's just wondering if it needs some kind of. I mean, it'd be nice to have a big floppy tongue over the E, or something silly, but I don't think it's going to work. So we'll just no, doesn't do any good. Okay, well, we'll leave it at that. That looks okay. So I'll just do Control-Shift-C here. Go over to my other screen here. Control-Shift-V. Do another save. And then if we get, where's the window? So if we load in Yquest logo again here, and we can now see, if you see these ones here, that's the PFA, and the twos here are the eyes of the PFA. So all we need to do here is just put a dB at the start of the line. Is this on screen? It's off screen again. I'm doing it again. Terrible, aren't I? Terrible. So yeah, sorry, off screen. So there he is. You can make him out in the ones there. So, and that means. So just putting these dBs at the start of the lines here. Lots of dBs. Put 2 at the start of one there. Going to work very well. Let's take that off. Okay. And then, of course, we don't want to save this because otherwise we'll wreck our sprite. But down at the bottom here, just paste this in and compile. Cool. And there is. Yeah. Okay. I do actually need to I need to change something. Either the quest needs to be a different color, or the PFA needs to be a different color, because at the moment they look the same. See if we've got any other sprites here. I don't think we have. So we've used the crystal, we've used the blobs, we've used the star. We could use that for the quest, maybe. That's sprite 0. I'm programmatically ignoring that. We'll worry about that later. I think when we create some more enemies, we'll use the other enemy types to draw the quest logo, maybe. I think that'll work. So we'll worry about that at a later point. Okay. Anyway, I think we're doing well enough for now. So we'll just make sure we don't save that. We will also go over here, just in case, as a backup. We will save this to logo.kra, just in case we have a sudden urge to change back to the toothy thing. Okay, so going to take that because I want to show some messages. All important. This is the most important part of this game, is the URL. HTTP. What is it? learnasm.net. I now have that properly working, so we need to show the URL off. So, and we also need to do text. Press fire to start. And we also need I've made horrendous mistakes there. I forgot to put the 255s on the end of line characters. Good. Okay. Looking at my code and wondering whether to create another subroutine, but I think we can do without it. So if we have an X position of about 20, well, 16, okay, and Y position of about 3 maybe, 3. Okay, need to move that 2 to the left and move it up 1 line maybe. and I think we'll maybe try a different location for the URL. Let's put that at position 0 and what's 25 in hexadecimal? I can't remember. 19. Okay. Undefined symbol. What's undefined? Yeah, it would be undefined. Oh no! Oh no, we've caused a new line to occur. Well, okay, I didn't expect that. Rotten firmware functions. Let's try 18 then, let's see how that looks. Oh, it starts at 0, that's fine. It was entirely correct to do a new line. I was printing off the screen. Okay. Do you think if we just if we take we certainly want to take the HTTP off. I'm just wondering whether to just put a learnasm.net to people, and people will understand that's a URL, won't they? I think people will know that. There we go. I think that will do. That looks okay. And, okay. So now here we want to do another call to that CLS. What was that CLS? Where was that CLS? Is it BC14? Should have put a code comment on it. Yes, it's BC14. We've made reasonable progress here, assuming no horrendously embarrassing mistakes occur. So what's coming next is not this week. I'll do this next week. What's going to come next is I'm going to have to do the levels. When the player collects all the crystals, they will progress to a new level, and each level will have a pre-programmed set of enemies on it. So the first level might have a single TFA or 2 TFAs and 10 crystals, and the second level will have a toothy and a TFA, and then the third level will have the clawy thing and 2 TFAs and 50 crystals, and so on and so on. So each level will have a programmed set of objects on it. And so, as I say, I need to write the code that's going to handle the level progression and actually sort of start coding the levels, and also work on more enemy types. I've not got enough enemy types at the moment because we've just got the single 3 really, and we need about, well, how many sprites have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spare sprites. So we want 7 more enemies. I think that sounds logical. So maybe we'll draw some at the end of this stream if we have time. Okay, anyway, where was I? What was I doing? It's okay, totally distracted there. Do I want to clear the screen? Maybe not. Maybe we'll see how it goes without clearing the screen. Now, one thing that occurs to me, how's the state of our stack? Oh, it's okay. I thought maybe there was some stuff we'd need to pop off. It doesn't seem to be. Okay, so then. And so when the player's dead, in the middle of the screen, we're going to show the "you're dead" message. Yeah, Mark, take care. I don't know what time it is over there, but as I say, I totally understand. I'm only going to be going on for... once I've got this "you're dead" message on, I'm going to just draw some sprites. I'm going to take it easy for the rest of the morning, because I'm rather tired. So, yeah, take care. I don't think you're going to miss anything, Mark. Very kind of you to join me thus far. Have a good evening, or good night, rather. Yeah. So 0C is the Y position, and we probably want to around 16 maybe. I keep saying it, I'll say it again, always make sure you save, because Win8 doesn't save automatically, and on very rare occasion it does crash. So don't, it tends to be very reliable. But it's not 100%. That breakpoint's still in place. I'm trying to kill myself and I'm not doing a very good job. I should just run into the mines, shouldn't I? They don't move. It's not going to be great. I don't think this channel's ever going to get monetized if I keep shouting about killing myself on stream. Okay, game over, you're dead. That's far to the right. So we need to move that. Okay, so we'll change this to 0.8, and we'll change lives to 3 again. Compile again. I should have tested the... I should have checked. I should have been able to press fire and restart the game, shouldn't I? Should have tested that. Anyway, never mind. Game over, you're dead. That still too far to the right. Need to remove that by 2. Down that by 2. Change it to 6. Compile again. Okay, well that works anyway. I should have restarted without... Usually when you recompile you're going to get a crash, but if the length of the program and the position of all the jumps doesn't change, then you can, like that, just recompile. And there has been times I've intentionally made the code work in that way just to save time when I'm testing a routine. If you design your code so that when the module you're changing is towards the bottom and the main loops at the top, then you can recompile and the change, you won't even need to restart your game. But obviously it's a bit dodgy, but you can do it if you're careful on Win8. Oh, okay, so it's not restoring my lives. Yeah, okay, that's not good. Got a score as well, haven't we? Have we? Have we got? I thought we had a score. Oh no, we've got a crystal count. We don't have a score. Do we want one? Maybe we do. Have a think about that. Maybe we should put a score in. See how it goes. I mean, I think I want to spend... this certainly needs to be finished before the end of March. I think maybe we want to spend no more than another 4 weeks on it. If it looked acceptable after 2, and I think it's very close to acceptable, then you know, maybe we'd. I don't think we need to reset crystals. I think that starts with the levels. So here we just need to do a reset of the lives. Okay, so that's being reset for us there. I just needed to check the position of the player was being reset somewhere. It is. It's difficult to control. The original was a mouse controlled. It's not really very well suited to joystick. I did just need I needed a simple game that I could easily write on a live stream, and this was about as complex as I felt confident I could take on. So that's why I've ported a game that would probably prefer a mouse. Game over. You're dead. Sad face. And there we go. Back to the menu. Very good. Okay, so I'm going to save that. Got about 20 minutes left. I'm going to continue running till about 10 to. So for the end of this stream, let's just close. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Close that down. Don't want that. Let's come up with some new monsters. We need some more sprites, so let's do that now. What kind of thing can we come up with? Need to get creative. It's difficult to be creative at 6 AM. Let's have some kind of worm. It'd be nice to have a wormy kind of... can we have a long thin character somehow? Not really. Maybe like an S or something like that. Sort of sea snake, a space snake. Yeah, let's have a snake. Some kind of snake. Can have a mouth there. I'm not sure it works, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, so one like that. Really need more than I really need more than 8 pixels to do a snake. It's just about all I can do. It'll suffice. We'll have that. Well, we'll go with that. And let's have a kind of chunky. Let's have a chunky oblong character. Yeah, go like that. Could have 3 hands, or maybe there. Maybe it looks a bit like a jellyfish. It wasn't intentional. I thought it'd be fun to have 3 hands, but I don't think hands are a possibility at this resolution. Anyway, looks a bit like a Space Invader. I was thinking of something more like those thwomp, is it? The block that attacks you in Mario. I was thinking of a square thing a bit like that, but it's ended up looking like a Space Invader or a jellyfish. But anyway, whatever. It'll work. It'll do okay. Let's have a very... Let's have a small round one. Let's have a fairly little one. have some little arms that stick out here. Maybe it'll wave its arms around. Do we have enough resolution for some eyes? Yeah, that'll do. That'll do nicely. I like that. Okay. What else can we have? Let's have a long, thin one. Trying to. I've got a very small resolution here, but I'm trying to come up with as many different creative ideas, and they're all. I'm giving them all some kind of face. I want them all to sort of have a bit of a personality. Does it look like a face? Possibly not. It's supposed to be one. It reminds me of the core from the CPU from Tron at the end. It ended up looking. It was kind of like a cone, and it had an angry-looking face on it. I don't know. That's what it ended up reminding me of. It probably don't really look like it, but yeah, I like that. It's got its little face. Okay. Could do with one with 3 eyes or something. We need one that's a bit weird. I'd like one with 2 heads, but not going to happen at this resolution. I think 3 eyes is pushing my luck even. So 3 heads, 2 heads. Let's use white. Yeah, 3 eyes. There we go. Not sure. Did the white eyes work? I think I'm going to avoid using white on the enemies so that the mines and the player stand out more. I'll use little bits like that, but maybe if he had a bit of a sheen, that thing had a sheen to it. Yeah, like that. Yeah, let's go with that. Just give them a. Looks like he's wearing boots now. Very good. Okay, and 2 more. Okay, we'll just so I would like one with 2 heads. Can we kind of? There's a. I forget what it's called, but there's a Pokemon that's got like multiple clusters to it. I don't suppose it's possible for me to rip it off if I can't remember what it looks like. Is it Tektite or something? I'm thinking like maybe if we had like 2. I've gone and done that in white. I said I wasn't going to do it in white, and then I've done it in white. Oh, we'll see how it goes. Can always change the colour later. That looks weird. Does it work? Let's try some different color options. Maybe if we just change it to blue. We'll have the eyes as white and the body in blue. I can't give it a mouth at that resolution. We'll go with that. We'll go with that. It's kind of like a Siamese twin monster. Kind of funny. And then what can we have? Let's have a cloud. Let's have a face that's kind of like a cloud. Trying to come up with lots of different forms for enemies, and that one can have a little antenna at the top. Yeah, a cloud, like a gaseous enemy. Just a bunch of random pixels, but then we'll draw a face in them somehow. I did have an enemy like that in Chibiakamas. I can't remember which level it was now, but I did have one. I remember drawing it. But the graphics in that were 24 by 24, whereas now we're slumming it, so to speak, in 8 by 8 mode. So okay. We need I want it to have a visible mouth and eyes, so we just need to make sure that, there we go. It looks a bit sad, but maybe it's got reasons to be sad. We won't judge it. Okay, so we'll just do a file save of that. And we'll do a copy to our clipboard. Now, if we go over to here, what we need to do next is we need to because there's 4 frames of animation in the game, so we need to draw alternate frames for each of those new characters. So if I just do a range select of this part here, delete that, delete that, delete that. Bear with me a moment, I just got to use 2 windows here. I'm copying the new characters to each of the banks of frames of animation. Okay. One thing I've not done the death animation. Okay. Let's do that now. Let's do that now before I forget. Okay. We can add the extra character animation to our little new guys. Our new characters here. We can add that to them next time. First of all, though, it's just looking for the player drawing routine. Draw player. I thought it was called. Why did I search for that and come up with nothing? So we're going to want to do a draw player, and we're going to want to change the player sprite. So we need to change player object. And if we're going to mess with player object, we've got to make sure we set it back. Otherwise our player's going to get all weird. Zero, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here we're going to do an XOR of A. Going to load in A here. Inc A, JR, NZ, comma, CP4. And here we're going to load A with 5, and then we're going to load player object with A, and here we want a simple delay, so let's do load. Have I got a pause routine? Yes, we have. But there's no return on it. That's no good. Load BC with F00. I'm not going to use interrupts because, I forget, as I said earlier, the Spectrum ROM needs IY for the interrupts, so I may want to keep interrupts disabled this entire game. So, and on some systems like the Computers Lynx, you can't rely on it anyway, because it doesn't have interrupts. So just for simplicity, I'm doing a very crude pause there. Put my controller away. I thought I'd finished game programming for the day, but I had forgotten about it. Okay, yeah, okay, we need to zero the acceleration. We've got some code to zero the acceleration just here. Just move that up here then, and that'll do the job for us. Putting this sprite frame in here. Oh, no, that's not right. It's player object. It's changing the sprite back to sprite 1, sprite 0. There we go. Now we might want to reset the positions of the enemies. I don't know yet, I'll probably do. We'll worry about it later though. So at this point I'm going to call it a day. I think we've done a lot of good work here, very good work. We've got our nice title screen, which is a bit of fun. We've got the firing working for the enemies, it seems. I mean, it's not properly coded in with regards to the frequency or which enemies fire, which don't, but you know, it's good enough. We've started our new characters here. We've drawn the first frames of animation, but of course we need to worry about the others later on. But at least we've got some placeholders here, and we've got some ideas that we can extend in the later video. So there we go. Well, let's drop over to thanks for watching here. Let's get over to that. I really appreciate everyone who's joined in today. I hope you've found it mildly amusing. We're going to be coming back next week, same time, same channel, so to speak, and we'll be doing some more on this. We'll be designing some more enemies, different movement speeds. Some of them will fire, some of them won't. and we'll start working on that level code so that we can have some progression throughout the game. So please join in for that. But of course, if you find these a little bit slow and a little bit vague, that's fine, because the final game will be released free, open source and all that gibber, and it will be done as a proper tutorial series. So if you just want to get the end result and see a faster, more controlled explanation of the content, then please just it'll be on the main channel. Please check out for that. But if you get bored tomorrow, about 11 hours from now, 11 hours from now tomorrow, that is, then I will be playing some Master System games. So if you would want to hang out, talk crap and chat, then that's might be interesting to you. But whatever you do, have a fantastic day, whether it's evening, morning or afternoon, just depending on your time zone. Thanks for watching today. I really do appreciate it. Take care now, and goodbye.